I've been in NASA right now 17 years.
That's amazing.
STEM is science, technology, engineering, math. And it's the core of what we do. It's the core of being able to launch a rocket into space. You need to have that foundation. So math is incredibly important in getting us to achieve our goals. And it definitely gets harder. It's then pre-calculus, but it's a universal language. It really is. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. It's the one language that we can all speak the same terms. So it's pretty exciting. It's so necessary and so needed. We need to motivate the engineers of the future, the scientists of the future, the technicians of the future, and that starts now. That starts now in high school, and it really starts in the classroom. And so efforts like this, and I'm so excited that we have you guys participating, are foundation. They're the key in order to introduce you to the world of STEM and possibly make you think, that's something cool I could do. At least ask the question, because that's where it all starts. It starts with asking a question. That's how I got involved in engineering. I never wanted to be an engineer. I'll give you a little bit of my background story. I never wanted to be an engineer. I was born in New York. I had no engineers in my family. And really but I really enjoyed space. I really enjoyed space. Ever since I was little, I loved looking at the sky at night, at the stars. It was something that I got drawn to. And I remember it all started with actually a math teacher. But yeah, so it all literally started in the classroom. It literally started. And I remember in college, there was another professor that I had. And this was in physics. So as you can see, it's not just math. That's where the science piece of it comes in. And physics was so hard for me, so hard for me. It was something that didn't come naturally. And so I was always in his office asking for help. And I remember one day he said, Ivette, you know that if you really applied yourself, you could work at NASA. And he planted that seed. Like, to me, NASA was just so far-fetched. It's like, who works at NASA? You know what I mean? And it was literally teachers in the classroom that motivated me. One started, early on in math class, and the other one was actually more focused. I was like, hey, you know that if you really apply, you can do this, and you can go work at NASA. And so what's happening now is so important, guys. It's so important just to spark that curiosity that, whatever you dream of can happen if you really apply yourself. And you might think right now, oh, it's just a class, or, oh, this is just, I need a passing grade, but it ultimately can be the foundation for something so much bigger. I graduated as a civil engineer from the University of Puerto Rico and immediately got hired into NASA. Someone in my class actually had an internship like this previous summer, as she was talking about her experiences. She went to Marshall Space Flight. It's in Alabama. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And so I started researching. By then we had internet. And I started researching as to, I want to do a NASA internship. And that's literally, I applied. That's all it is. So, and at that point, since I did such a good job during my internship, and that's why it's so important that even though you may start off low in the totem pole, do the best that you can. And again, that discipline starts with your homework, starts with your projects, starts with every single presentation that you have to do now. I remember in high school, I used to hate working in team groups. I would always prefer to work homework by myself because I knew I could get it done. But that ability to work in teams is what's going to make you successful, because it's so rare that you will be isolated working by yourself. You need to know how to handle working with different people, handling different backgrounds, people that will come from totally different nationalities, ways of thinking, religions, ethnic backgrounds. You need to be able to handle that. And so those diversities, you're able to start off now when they have team projects, when you have team groups, it's all that discipline starts now. And so I got, as a result of all of that, and I was able to put in my resume, I got hired into NASA working as a project manager for the civil engineering group. When you think of NASA, you think of flying and astronauts, but it takes a whole team with different backgrounds to make a center work. And our team was responsible for the buildings, the roads, the bridges, the roofs. I mean, the maintenance of all the infrastructure, the launch pads, like every building on center, whether we either process hardware or even if it was just office space. We were in charge of it. And so I worked there for 10 years. And so we basically would take a project from design all the way through construction. So you had a project for years, which also, you know, it proves patience. I mean, there was so many times that things didn't go as planned. And so you had to, you know, that's where you had to apply problem solving skills, where you had to work as a team to figure out what I designed isn't really working. How do I fix it now in the field when we're in construction?
Mm-hmm.
We used a lot of math. Everyone has to know how to do a budget. Everyone. So you need to know, I mean, it doesn't matter if you work in the labs, it doesn't matter if you worked as a project manager, you need to have a budget, you need to know how to work it, and you need to know how to pull things together. And those, unfortunately, I didn't study that one in college. I had to figure it out. And so for the first 10 years, that's what I did. I really worked with bridges. I became a bridge and roof expert. But I just finished doing the crew access arm a couple of months ago. The crew access arm is the hallway where the astronauts will walk from the launch tower inside the space vehicle. So to give you an idea, if you've seen Apollo 13, the movie, it's that walkway where the astronauts are like walking. And so we have different project engineers in charge of different teams to put that together, make sure everything was designed correctly, installed correctly, built correctly. And right now we're in the testing phase. Everything has been put in, but we have to test everything to make sure that it is properly done. Because in the end, we have a very expensive space vehicle, and then ultimately we're going to have astronauts' lives on this vehicle. And it's important that every single person does their job, every team does their job correctly, so that way we can make sure that crew and vehicle are safe and can return home. Just so you can see how high it is, this is the top of the VAB, which is 525 feet. We're, I want to say, almost at 500 feet, like from the top of 400, I can't remember, but definitely less than 100 feet from the top. So we're within that range.
Was it like a little nerve-wracking when you were like up that high? Because I know I'd be kind of scared.
Yeah, because the floor is a grid. It's not solid. So if you look down, you can actually see down. And one last one for the students, if we don't get cut off, like, I went to a super small school, super small. Elementary was like 8 people in my class, and then high school is small compared to public schools nowadays. I mean, our class was like 30 people in my class. And then I went to a public school for college. I did not do Ivy League. I did not do any of that stuff. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter where you go. Give it your all in anything that you do, no matter how small the task, no matter where it is that you can afford, that you can go, give it your all. Do the best. Give your 200%. Like anything less, like be like, no, give it your all. Whatever that is to you, give it, because that will show so much and will prove so much more than just a simple grade on a report card. Like, be the best version of yourself that you can be in everything that you do, and you'll go far.